Welcome to the Success Pick and Mix podcast. I'm your host, Nicky Raby, a professional pick and mixer. I'm a personal brand coach, a speaker, an actor, a creator, and a podcaster. I'm on a mission to help you find and create your version of success. Your pick and mix of life and business on your terms. A blend that complements your personality, your goals, and your circumstances. Since 2018, I've been sharing interviews and mini episodes to help you unlock your next step, to make it real and make it happen. Round here, we dream big. We go for the ideal version. We talk about money and make moves our future selves would be proud of. This podcast is free and available for you whenever you need it. So do rate, review, and subscribe for new episodes. If you want to go deeper with my support, check out my freebies house and unlock the rooms you choose. nickyraby.com/freebies house. I also have workshops, programs, and one-on-one bespoke offerings. For prices and availability, go to nickyraby.com. Thank you, as always, for spending some time with me and my guests. Now, on to today's episode. In today's episode, I am talking to Faye Morgan, who is the founder of 36Day Social. On her website, it says, supercharge your business growth. But we will not be talking about hustling harder or staying up for more hours or working more hours. This is really about optimizing digital tools that are available and out there and making them very practical and tangible. I have spent so many hours over the years staring and swearing at my computer, hoping that I could figure it out. But that's why people like Faye are so great to have in your corner. She has that ability to make the process easy to access and also implement into your business. She also has a fantastic creative eye. So she has this ability to really break down a process, make it very visual, actionable, etc. Also a great podcast, so do check her out after this episode and add her podcast to your library. I think that's it for now. Let's get into the chat. Do rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. And of course, let me know how you get on, what you want to do, where you're going next. My emails are always open. hello@nickyraby.com. Faye, welcome to the podcast. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm really excited to be here.
Me too. And you're actually a podcast host yourself now, but I'm sure we'll get into that in a little bit. But for people who don't know you, would you mind just telling us about your business and what you do, and I guess how you describe yourself right now?
Sure. Yes, my name's Faye. I live in London, not that far away from you, Nikki. And
absolutely, in Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, in Chelsea. We both live in palaces, which is great. No,
yeah,
exactly.
Great. That's what we have in common. You know, all the diamonds we wear as well.
Yeah, the North London massive. Absolutely. Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I actually started off working in the film industry many years ago, and then had a couple of kids, and straight away realized that actually not seeing my children wasn't going to be an option, and working out Pinewood wasn't really going to work for having a really lovely family life. And of course I want to see my kids grow up, so I realized I needed to do something different. So that's when I retrained into social media, because I've always had a bit of a creative soul in me, and realized actually that's where I could help businesses as well as be creative and help other businesses grow. That naturally progressed into creating content on behalf of other businesses that they could use within their ads, their Facebook and Instagram ads. And I really enjoyed that, because it meant that my content was getting seen for a lot longer. I could spend a little bit more time on it, and the budgets were a bit bigger. Yeah. So from there, it made me think, well, actually, hang on here. I don't want to just be creating content and not knowing if it's working. I want to actually start learning how to run those ads for myself as well as create the content. So that's one side of my business now is that I do run Facebook and Instagram ads on behalf of businesses. That is my agency, 365 Day Social. And then the other side is the training that I do to help others learn who might not have the budget to hire me on a one-to-one basis.
Amazing. And I think what I really noticed about you is that you're, this sounds like an M&S advert. M&S, if you're listening, we're available for sponsorship. I love your coleslaw. Yeah. But you're not just like any other social media management type situation. Like a lot of people who fall into that category, I guess, follow me on Instagram, or like I see lots of people who have gone through like a specific training or something like that. But for me, you've always really stood out as being different, and I feel like we really see you in that as well. So you're not just saying I could do a power hour or I could do something else. Like I feel like you've really carved out your own niche. How did you know how to do that, or what were the first steps that you kind of made to be really deliberate about how you show up?
Well, thank you for saying that. I did make a purposeful effort to try and stand out, because there are a lot of social media managers out there. So when I first started, I knew I had to make a difference. I was starting from scratch, and I was coming in quite late to Instagram, really. I didn't have an account when it first started, and of course we all kick ourselves because the growth would have been so much more massive then. I came into it probably about 4 years ago, 3.5, 4 years ago, and realized that yes, I'm going to have to build an audience here. I've got to prove that I can grow an Instagram account, social media account. And you feel the pressure as a social media manager, because obviously you want to spend your time working on your clients' accounts, but you know that you've got to show up all the time. And to enable me to do my own marketing as well as build my own business, I knew that I had to do something different. And it was really trying to think differently. And I always encourage my clients to try and think differently with their marketing, whether that is in the design, whether that's with what you say, whether you go against the grain. That's what will help you stand out on social media in less time. So for me, drawing on a bit of my creative background, even though I lost my way a little bit, I actually did do a fine art degree in video 30 odd years ago, which was quite groundbreaking at the time. I did not realize or appreciate it at the time either, but then realized actually this is what I could do. I could just experiment and have a little play. So that's what I try to do with my own channels, is have a little bit more of a play and try and enjoy it, because we do know that the grind of just posting on social media can take its toll. So if you do play and experiment with your own stuff, it just becomes a little bit more fun and more sustainable, really, and consistent. You can be more consistent when you enjoy it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think the temptation sometimes with little time or trying to build something really quickly, the temptation can feel like, oh, I've got to follow the rules of what everybody says. So somebody might say, right, this is what the algorithm wants you to do. So you've got to, it's kind of like some weird 90s game shows, like beat the algorithm, go, go, go. And actually well, one thing that I've learned, certainly, like you've said, is if I ignore what everybody else is doing and go back to what feels instinctive or what feels doable, and, you know, people have sort of said that to me, like, how do you do all the different things? And actually, if I tap in and work in a way that feels really good, it doesn't feel like hard work. It doesn't feel like I'm sort of struggling or fighting it. And I think being really deliberate, especially at this time, is really important. And yeah, you're right, tapping into those different elements that you're bringing to the table can be your secret sauce. I know that, like, when I've talked about speaking gigs that I've done, like the fact that I'm a trained actor has helped me sort of with my clients going, no, I want you to be able to say your prices out loud. Why don't we role play it in a really cheesy way, and I'll be an obnoxious client who doesn't want to pay you. And I think it's all those moments of actually having to do it and make moves forward. So how did you start to design your pricing menu, I guess, and your offering of what was going to work really well for you, what was going to be exciting, but also really help your clients?
I did find this difficult, certainly in the early days, because of coming out of quite intense social media training. I felt really lost. I didn't even know that there were coaches or people such as yourself that can help businesses. And you are on your own in your business. It's essentially you and your pet, perhaps, or just the four walls that you're talking to. And you feel like you're going a little bit crazy because there's no one to discuss. And that's why I do love Facebook groups. I do love being part of certain communities, and I have to pick those carefully so not to feel overwhelmed. But that's when actually I found you, Nicky, when I first started. And actually it was having that meeting with you that helped me realize that I need to draw on certain strengths, but I also need to be able to charge for it, because I want to make sure that the time that I'm spending on helping others, I'm actually going to get paid for it.
Yes,
not less than the minimum
absolutely.
wage. Even though I enjoy what I do, I want to make sure that I have a roof over my head and I can feed my kids at the same time. And that was hard in the early days, because you feel like you are starting again, and that you want to build up the experience to prove to people. And it's, when do you stop doing that? When do you actually start charging what you're worth and then growing your business so you can scale it? So it's having these conversations with people that are outside of perhaps your immediate family, because my immediate family have no clue about social media or what it's worth and the benefits and how that can help people. So it's really talking to others that definitely helped me to give me the confidence to start off with. But also then, of course, I did check out what my competitors were doing to start off with. Then I did actually work out, put pen to paper, work out how much time is it going to take for me to do a certain task on behalf of people. Write that down, write down then the minimum amount of money that I want for that. Then I very quickly realized that that's not going to work on an hourly basis. So I had to have monthly packages, because there was that tendency to completely overserve clients, certainly in the early days. But you've also got to be able to set your goals. And I'm sure you're a big believer in setting goals goals to actually motivate yourself to realize what it is that you want to achieve, whether that's quarterly, yearly, or whatever it is that suits you. Because then you can set those goals in terms of how much money you want to earn. Then it's working your way backwards, exactly how your hours are going to be split to make sure that you get to that goal. Otherwise, they're going to be unachievable goals if you just pluck a figure out of nowhere without having some serious planning. That's what worked for me. Not necessarily works for everyone else, but I like to have things written down. I like to have goals, and I am motivated by goals.
And I think just playing around with those numbers is really important as well, because the tendency is, well, I know for me, is that sometimes I can go round and round the houses doing things. And my own coach said this to me a while ago. She was like, why are you making this really difficult? I was like, well, I don't know. And then she was like, but if you did know, why are you making this difficult? And it was because I had a block around a certain price and it felt too easy. And there was something about it like, what people just do this and they just pay. And it's really interesting as you move forward in your business that all of these things almost come to the surface to pop up to say hello of, I guess, where the work where there's still places that you need to uncover or explore, or what you find tricky, or I guess how that all works. How did you start to find clients, and I guess your ideal clients, the people that would pay you the work that you really wanted to do? What was that process?
In the early days, it was very different to what it is now. In the early days, I was relying more on social media, getting the word out there, trying to prove to people that I knew I was talking, I could do what I was talking about.
Yes.
So making sure that I was there on social media, engaging with people, getting people to know me. Now it is very different, because I do have an ideal person that I'd like to work with. And that's something that has taken a while to realize what that is. Before, when I first started, it would be, yes, I can help you. I'll take on any old client.
Yes.
And then you realise, yeah, you probably weren't suited to me and the way that I think. And you just know if you're going to be aligned with someone, if you're going to get on with someone. And that has taken time, because in the film industry, that isn't the case. You have your own little network of people that you normally go from one film to the next.
Yes.
And it's more about your personality and your availability at the time. But with what I do now, it's very, very different. So it's more, I would reach out to certain people, I would follow them and engage with them and just make sure that, for example, if it's for someone that I'm looking to work with for an Instagram or Facebook ads client, I'd make sure that they've got services that I believe in, that I feel they could genuinely do well with ads and help grow their business, because I wouldn't want to make false promises. I'm not that sort of person. I'd want to be honest with people if ads are going to work or not. And I'd definitely tell them if I didn't think it would.
Yeah,
because you're just going to waste their money and you waste your time. And that's no good for anyone. That's no good for anyone's business at all.
Absolutely. And I imagine that your work has just really increased recently because of lockdown, because everybody's spending 21 hours of the day on social media or on the internet, you know, that there is so much kind of scope. I guess if people were thinking about moving forward in terms of their strategy and really getting themselves out there and thinking about investing, and what would, I guess, be the first steps that they would need to think about?
First steps, if they were wanting to invest in something like Facebook and Instagram ads, certainly make sure that it's an offer that's working organically, because Facebook and Instagram ads is a brilliant tool for people if they've got something that is validated already. Ads can also help if you are testing the market, if you've got the budget to go out there and test different audiences with different products to see what's going to work best, or different services. But it tends to be the ones that I work with, say, for example, if they've got a program, a course or a membership, that it's working organically, and that they may well have launched one or two times, and they now want to amplify it when it comes to running their ads. So you need to have a good website, because you want to be sending, or a good landing page, you want to be sending traffic to your landing page. You need to make sure that you've got a pixel added. So it's this mysterious thing, the Facebook pixel, that everyone...
Like, where's Wally?
yeah, it is. And it's not that complicated. If anyone tells you otherwise, they're lying. It's just a series of digits. It's a series of numbers that need to go onto your website in the header. And Facebook have made that even easier now and have a walkthrough. So it guides you through where to put it. And depending on what website platform you've got, it can be so simple. So it's things like the pixel, which helps track the audience that land on your website, which is beneficial for so many reasons. One being to see what ads are working, importantly, so you can put more money behind it. Two, you can create audiences from those people, so you can retarget those people. Say, for example, they landed on your website but didn't buy, you can then retarget those people. So it can be super clever with a specific message as well if they've landed on a particular page. And then the third reason is you can create a lookalike audience of those people as well. So you can create an audience that look and have similar interests to people that are already buying from you. So super scary from one side, that makes you know so much and give you so much, but then really good from a business point of view. So yes, I mean, there are a few things that you need to think about. You need to think about how quick your website page is loading, which you can check. There's some free tools out there you can check. So it's just making sure that you've got those things in place, that you have a clear idea as to who your target audience is. Then you won't waste money in terms of running Facebook and Instagram ads. And it's really important. You don't want to be just boosting, which Facebook encourages many people just to do. And it's so tempting. They show up, don't they? And they say,
hi,
yeah, boost this. Yeah, you can reach millions of people if you just spend money willy-nilly.
Yes. And I think what you're saying is just so important in terms of the process of people going live or taking action or launching or things like that, because I think sometimes there is the pressure going, oh my goodness, I've got this idea and I've got to get it all filmed, and then I've got to do this, this and this, and I've got to have a Facebook ads manager on. And that moment of taking a step back and going, hang about, let's just try and test this, let's get some feedback on this. And I know this happened, I've got a video coming up about this, but I did a beta version of my speaking course because I knew there was lots of things in it. It was kind of almost complete, but I wanted people to test it and give me feedback on it. And that was so invaluable. And actually, if I had thrown loads of money at this massive launch or all of these Facebook ads and things like that without really knowing what it was going to involve, you're right, I would have just hemorrhaged loads of money. But the fact that I now know a little bit more about it, it's so much easier, and I'd be able to make it work for me. I would love to talk about investing, because I know that you're always somebody who is looking at investing in your business and really being at the top of your game. But as we hang out on social media, there's always something new to buy, or like these 3 things that you've got to do immediately. How have you been? Otherwise, you're a loser and you're never going to, you know, all of these like awful techniques, these sales techniques that happen. How have you been really discerning and being able to step back and really consider where you spend your money and when has been the right time to do so?
Yeah, really great question there, because I haven't always got this right, if I'm being 100% honest with it. One of the best investments was in my own branding. And because I like to experiment, as mentioned, I've always played with colours and fonts and never quite settled on my own brand. And it's since I invested last summer some good money in my brand that I have now been able to draw a line under that, and I have more of a consistent brand that I can feel really proud of and really confident with. So not only has it freed up my time, but it's also enabled me to feel inspired again about what content I create. So that for me has been a really big investment. And I do hear that even brand strategists and people, graphic designers themselves, can tend to hire other people even though they can do the job for similar reasons. So I totally get that now, because I guess it's having someone that's got that objective view and can help with the messaging and the story. So I'm definitely a big believer in outsourcing things like that, because I've seen it firsthand how much it's helped me in not only saving time, but also, like I say, it's just having that confidence in moving forward and being proud of my business, which certainly when you start out, you want to go to everyone that this is who I am. This is my brand. This is what I represent. Oh, sorry, you can hear my dog here.
That's fine.
I've got a new puppy.
Oh,
I mean, he's adorable.
Oscar asks for a dog every single day of the week, and I'm just like, Luna is only she'll be 1 next week, and I'm just not in a position to take one on just yet. But yeah, how's that been for business? I bet that's been good actually on terms of dog walks and things for creative thinking.
I seem to have a dog that doesn't like walking.
Oh.
So I've been doing the school runs because my kids, luckily, have been able to go back to school this last couple of weeks. Amazing. Believe it or not, they've opened up. So, I've been taking him on walks, but he just sits there. So that's dragging him and then carrying him. And that might change, but I don't know. It's quite embarrassing. So I always wanted a dog that I could go running with. And that's one of the best tips that I could ever give is just, if you really are lacking creative inspiration, is just getting outside, getting in the fresh air. I come up with so many good ideas when I'm on a run, and maybe one day on a walk.
Yeah, and I find that with I like doing a lot of hot yoga as well, and I'll quite often go in with like something that I'm mulling over or something that's running around my head, or I just kind of set that intention of like, right, I want to have an idea of what this looks like, and guaranteed, you know, a bit of sweat at the end of it. This is a lovely image for everybody. Sorry if you're eating your breakfast, but yeah, you kind of come out and go, oh, I could totally do that. In terms of the training that you've invested in and things like that, how important has it been to really layer your skill set without, I guess, making your offering so extensive that you could do so many things? So really being able to make it practical in being really useful for your potential client, but being really streamlined at the same time.
It's been vital, really, certainly to be able to speak to coaches, because I have all these ideas all the time, and my business has so many different opportunities, and you can be pulled in so many different ways and see the nice, shiny, bright lights and go off in different directions. And I've really had to rein myself in hard. I find that quite hard because there are a lot of opportunities out there, and there's lots of things that's changing in the digital space that could help build businesses. And there's a lot of gurus or so-called gurus out there that are just talking at you all the time on social media. So it's been really important to me to find just a few people that can not only inspire me, educate me, and help me make those decisions in where my business should grow. And that's been vital. It's been vital to invest in that, to invest in someone that can give me not only feedback, but just allow me the space to just throw ideas and see, really just talk through them and see actually what I really would enjoy doing and what there is potential in. Now, courses, I've invested a lot in courses, and you'll laugh at this because I have actually won an award for being the Digital Learner of the Year.
Did you? That's so funny.
It's one that it's not an Oscar, is it, really? But
that's coming. That's coming. It's on its way. But I am with you. Like, if it's the right thing, and this year I have invested, like, I'm sweating. Sorry, another sweating image of me. I'm sorry, for dear listener. But yeah, I've invested so much money this year, and it does make you slightly nervous, but equally it just gives you that little, I'm ahead of the game. I'm always thinking and moving and shaking. And that's when you really just get those results, because the temptation, I guess, can be to sit back or not do the work or things. But I bet if you've invested all that money as well, you've actually done the things.
Always done the things, yeah. If you could take it both two ways, really. You could just sit back and not do anything, or you could go ahead and try and find the answers on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, or you can invest in someone that's been there and done it and can bypass all, give you all that knowledge that you need to know in a shorter amount of time so you can move forward in your business and, like you say, stay ahead of the curve. I think it's really important because you want to know the strategies that are working right now for people, but you want to learn from people that have been there and done it and have experienced success in it that can teach you something. So you've got to really do your research and find those people that you trust and are fun as well. Which is definitely you, Nicky, without a doubt. Bring a massive fun factor into things, because otherwise you're not going to be engaged with it. You're not going to learn, and your business is not going to grow. It's really important, and I'm a massive believer in being a lifelong learner. That's what keeps me motivated in business, and there is also always something to learn, which is why I love what I do in social media and ads, because of course Facebook and Instagram are always updating things, so they're always keeping us quite challenged, but then they're also presenting lots of new opportunities in ways in which we can grow. So yes, I invest in coaches, I certainly invest in new tech and what I think is the future of marketing too.
Amazing. And you're so good at building a community. How did you make that decision to build a membership? Because I think the thing is, I guess I haven't done it myself, but when you start building a membership, it's almost like saying, who's available to come to my party and also pay to come to my party? And I guess it can sometimes feel a little bit apprehensive of going, oh my goodness, I'm going to put all this work into something. What if nobody comes to play?
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of us have those fears about it. My intention was not to build a membership, to be honest. I really wanted to build a course. I really enjoy helping others, and I knew that I could help others learn how to use social media more quickly and more efficiently, because I could see a lot of people getting really overwhelmed by it all. There's a lot of skill sets it brings into play, running social media for your own business. So I could see that there was a big need for that. So what I did, I launched a course on Instagram specifically for business, and that became really popular. So once I'd run that, it was initially for 6 weeks. The people that are on it really enjoyed it, but wanted to continue learning, and not just Instagram. They wanted to know more about Facebook and wanted to know more about ads. So I was going to just end it there and keep running the course, keep live launching the Instagram course. But then because they wanted to carry on that learning, it became a business opportunity for me, and another way that I could actually help those businesses grow even further by offering this membership. So I didn't take the decision lightly, because a membership is quite a commitment. I think a lot of people going into memberships probably don't appreciate the amount of time it takes, but also creating that community that you enjoy on a consistent basis, that you see results from the people that are in your membership. That was really important to me. I wanted to make sure that they weren't just in the membership and actually not really accessing the content. They actually were getting use from it and able to be more efficient on social media and use ads the right way. So, I mean, it ended up being a bit of a no-brainer, and so that's why I ended up doing the membership. But for people that are thinking about membership of courses, I mean, courses has been brilliant for me, because it just is a way that you can support people that don't have the money, like I said at the beginning, on the one-to-one basis. But also, it's just, you're helping people, and that's what I really love to do, is helping people so much.
And I think you're right that this budget thing can sometimes step in the way. And like, I have a £20 shop on my site, and I feel like it's really important, because when you have that moment, whether it's after you've had children, or you hate your current situation, or I was thinking about this in the park earlier, usually when we're making decisions or having to make moves, they come at times where you're having to make other moves. So I recently had a client who was like, I'm getting a divorce, so therefore I need to start a business, because now my children are going between 2 houses. And, you know, and that's why you always see those DIY programs where like the woman is just about to give birth as they're putting the roof on. And you're like, oh my gosh, how did this practically shouldn't work, and all the rest of it. But, you know, that's life, and that's sort of the way that it goes. But I think making learning accessible for everybody is so important, because there's so many times where we almost take possibilities off the table for ourselves. We're like, yeah, well, I haven't got that 50 grand lurking under my bed, so therefore entrepreneurship is not for me. And I totally disagree. Like, you can just do it slowly but surely, and then invest at a higher level when you can, and when you have, and sometimes even when you're making the first couple of payments, you're like, oh my goodness, this feels really scary, or you're going to the next level in some way, and then it kind of eases and you settle into it again.
Yes. Whenever I've invested in anything, it's always taken me up to the next level. Always. I've never regretted anything that I've spent money on, because I have done a bit of research in it, or, you know, asked people their thoughts if they've worked with that particular person. It's always taken me to the next level. So yeah, I don't regret it. It's just making sure that you are aware. And I think like you're offering a way in for people that might not have the budget there to spend. I think that's a really good thing, and they get used to your teaching style as well, and see that you can help them. And also it's good from a business point of view. So if anyone's got, you know, courses of a certain amount, it's worthwhile thinking about a lower price offer to get people used to how you are teaching. And that's why actually I recently introduced the Canva course. So it gets people used to that style. It's a really low entry price point, which is going to help people speed up their time on social media. And I really enjoyed doing it, because it helps people know that you can actually design your social media content really quickly by using Canva. So it's useful in a business to have things like that.
Definitely, and we'll add the link in the description as well. So do feel free to check that out. How do you set up your week in terms of having that focus on your own business, on other people's business, also juggling children and like working with your own rhythms and your man, like not that you're juggling him, but yeah, it's sort of quite that it's those. What sort of things work in terms of getting you organized and focused and allowing your week to work for you rather than feeling like you're chasing it? I mean, it's probably slightly different because we're just kind of coming out of lockdown, but yeah, sort of general things that help would be really useful to share.
Yeah, sure. Well, it has been very different over the different stages. Certainly this year, it was different when I first started to where I am now, but when the kids are at school, so let's just pretend they're at school and they're going in, 9 till 3:30. What I like to do, this is how I will plan it out again, is work on a Monday. It will be for my clients, for my one-to-one work in the morning, and then in the afternoon it's time for my online stuff, so my courses and promoting myself. And then I reverse that. So on a Tuesday, I put my online stuff first and then my clients in the afternoon. That works for me. And I try and have Friday to leave it clear for any meetings, any online calls, and just allow a bit of time to catch up. So that's what has worked for me quite well, actually, because it just means that I'm not just focusing 100% on my clients, which I did definitely in the beginning, and not build my business. But then I'm also making sure I've got time to build the online stuff. And also I include that in my membership because they're my clients as well. So making sure that I have got time dedicated to them too. So that's why I alternate. And that has been successful. There was a time in lockdown that I was getting up ridiculously early because that was the only way that I could manage it, as well as homeschooling. I found that a real challenge. I thought I was quite a patient person, but turns out I'm not.
Isn't it funny? Like lockdown has brought up all these things like, I'm this and I'm that and this is what it's all about. And then you're like, oh, but I actually, when we're all in these four walls for weeks on end, actually, I'm not that cool, creative mummy or that moment. And turns out we do watch more telly than we think that we do. And it's such an interesting time. But I think that the distinction of what you are working on in those hours is really important, because otherwise, I know myself, I can go, right, I've got the whole day to do something, but what am I doing and why have I got all these tabs open, and I'm flitting from one thing to a next, and it just doesn't help my creativity, but also it doesn't help my productivity. I can sometimes get to the end of the day and go, yeah, okay, so what did I actually achieve here? And being really discerning about that is so important.
It's really important. There are a few tools that have really helped me over the years to get more productive and more organized. One is called ClickUp. So someone described to me ClickUp as though Asana and Trello have had a baby. So that helps my side, where I did always love Trello because it's quite visual and you've got the board aspect. I haven't used Asana, but a lot of people rave about that because it's more of a workflow. So this combines them both. So that has massively helped my productivity, just having everything like that in one place.
Oh, I'm going to check it out. It sounds great.
It's good. It's really good. And it's free. The version I'm using is completely free, so it's even better. Obviously, there are paid tiers, but I don't need to use that. And it's good for onboarding clients too. It makes it quite streamlined. And also, I've got this sleep app I think it's called Sleep Cycle. And that just sometimes, I mean, I'm always quite a good sleeper generally, but just having this app, it wakes me up gently in the morning, so you get a little gap of, you can set it for half an hour. Yeah. Hi, Faye. Time to
tea, coffee, what would you like?
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? I'm expecting the kids to do that at some point.
Oh my God, when does that, I know yours are a bit older than mine, but when does that happen, when they go, do you know what, Mum, I'm going to cook the dinner tonight, or like, we're going to do a roast on Sunday. Is it coming, Faye? Is it coming?
It's got to be coming. I've got a 10-year-old. And actually, it's my 7-year-old. It was just my birthday relatively recently. And He brought me up breakfast for 3 mornings before my birthday. Honestly,
Oh my
it melted
God,
my
love
heart so
him.
much. So yeah, that was very sweet. But then the day after my birthday, he said, "That's it, I'm stopping now."
Yes.
You
Well,
go, "Oh,
also,
yeah."
if we do live near to each other, feel free. He can roll some stuff down the hill. We're available for all of that. We will pay him very well. It will
Yeah.
be great. Yes. So, and the sleep app as well.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
that sounds.
yeah, that's what I was saying. The sleep app, and do you know what it's really good for? It's because not only gives me this half an hour window to wake up, so it's meant to wake you up at a time when you're in your lightest sleep, which does work. So it could be, the beginning of that half an hour at the end. So that's been quite good. But also when you wake up, it tells you how good a quality your sleep is. So sometimes when I look at that, or when I didn't have it, I would think, I've had such a rubbish sleep. So when I got this, I wake up and think I've had a rubbish sleep, and then I look at it, it tells me I've had a good sleep, and then I suddenly have the energy again because my app's told me. It's just in my head. But yeah, so things like that help with my productivity, and it's just getting exercise, isn't it, and drinking lots of water, all that boring stuff.
All the things, isn't it? I've started doing a morning meditation where it's like I kind of listen to this guided it's called, I'll link it in the description. It's all about like, this is going to be a great day, it's a new day, it's all these things. It just really, by the end of it, I often listen to it in bed as well, and I'm like, it is a good day, okay, off we go. And yeah, sometimes you do have to just trick your brain of like, I've got this and it's fine and it will be great and all that stuff. What are your goals coming up, or I guess what are your focuses going forward in your business? Where would you like to take this empire that you're building?
Yes, there's 2 sides to my business. It's the ad side, and then it's the courses and the online side. And I'm wanting to keep growing them both. I love the ad side. I love working one-to-one, and I love helping see other businesses grow. I get a big boost out of that. Plus, when you're working with a variety of companies, it helps to keep you on your toes because you can produce creatives that are different. I can experiment with them. And it's interesting to see how they work because it does change over time with the seasons or with important events like Valentine's or Christmas.
Yes.
With the updates that we're getting. I definitely see a future of my business as well expanding into messenger bots, because Facebook has just shown us that actually their future, a lot of it is going to be within Messenger and us having more conversations. So I have started to introduce the service of where I do set up messenger bots on behalf of businesses because they can massively help keep audiences and clients and customers engaged. And that can lead to certainly better open rates compared to email.
Yeah.
There's a massive future there with messenger bots that really, I think a lot of us are only just realizing at the moment. So I'm really excited about that side. And then the online stuff, definitely growing the membership because I love that too. I love helping more people. So that gives me the opportunity just to be able to help more people with social media. And they all kind of feed into and helping one another because they keep me on my toes. I have to stay up to date with the latest and greatest strategies and new updates that we get given on Facebook and Instagram. And it's just a massive interest of mine, just seeing the potential that we're all being given in the online space right now. It's really exciting. It's exciting for everyone's business.
And I think that's like part of your magic as well, that you genuinely love it and you don't find it overwhelming. You're like, look at it's the Friends episode when Alec Baldwin's like, look at the sky, look at this, look at the bots, and you can do all this sort of stuff. And that's what you want in your business. I think, it's like with my accountant, she absolutely just, she loves it. She's like, oh my goodness, I found this new thing on the spreadsheet and it's great. And and I have I like to know where, I like to be discerning about money and where it's coming from, and have an awareness and appreciation for it. But like coding and things like that, or equations, or formulas, they don't light me up in that way. So I think, if you are feeling like something like social media feels like a chore rather than something that you're excited about, definitely consider speaking to someone like Faye, who's like, no, I'll show you the way and it will be great and exciting, because that's where you'll see results.
Well, we all have our passions, don't we? We all have our skills. We can't be amazing at everything. even though many of us are brilliant at everything.
Well, I mean, I didn't like to say, but yes, exactly.
That's what I say to my husband anyway.
Matt will often say to me, like, I think we've had this conversation. I'm like, okay, yes, I think we have. Interesting. It's so boring. I'm telling him the same stories. Where can people find you if they want to find out more? Or I guess what would be then some good steps for people to take?
I would say check out my website. Go and have a look at www.365daysocial.com, or come and say hi on Instagram at 365daysocial. That's where you can find me. That's where you can find out more about my management and more about the training. But I'm always open to any DMs. If you've got any questions, if you're feeling stuck with Instagram or Facebook or ads, then just feel free to send me a question. I'm always happy to answer.
And the podcast as well. You've just recently launched your podcast this year.
Yes. Well, yeah, that was quite exciting. I'm loving it, and congratulations on all your downloads as well, Nikki. It's incredible.
Thank you. Well, if you're listening, everyone, thank you. Yeah, we reached 100,000 downloads, which just I say we, like I'm running some empire, but it's it's mainly me. But this is the thing. It's like podcasts have just got such an opportunity for different content and conversations. So if anybody's listening and they've got questions about it, come and have a chat, because we can advise on it, or you can find out more. But well, lovely. Thank you so much, Faye. You've been so brilliant, and just seeing what you do online is just such an inspiration as well, because you're right, it makes it look fun and creative and exciting. So thank you so much for being such a brilliant guest today.
Oh, well, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. I've loved it.
Me too.
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. If you haven't already, feel free to rate, review and subscribe for all the brand new episodes. If you want to go deeper with my support, check out my freebies house and unlock the rooms you choose. nickyraby.com/freebies house. I also have workshops, programs and one-on-one bespoke offerings. For prices, availability or just to have a chat with me, go to nickyraby.com. Thank you as always for spending some time with me and my guests, and I'll see you next time.